Hi, we're back again. I'm Max Gerstein with UBM Studios, and I'm sitting here with Ken Hayward of vcopious. We're going to be talking about, customer feedback, pain points of customers, and how that's going to lead virtual events into the future business that it's going to become. Ken, do you want to talk a little bit about vcopious and where you guys were in 2011, and from the customer feedback, where you guys had to get to where you are now?
Sure. Thanks, Max. Yeah. So vcopious actually had a very interesting year in 2011, and the big issue for us and the big opportunity for us was the rollout of our VC2 Internet Application Server. And so what we have done in 2011 and moving into 2012 is listened to our customers many have told us that they would like the opportunity to not only have a SaaS provider, but have access to the license of our technology for their own uses. So if you look at the types of customers that might appeal to, it's going to be the large enterprises who like to have control of their own individual virtual environments or digital destinations, as it's called. It could be also service providers such as advertising agencies, large digital carriers, or other types of companies who see the value in controlling their margin and controlling the integration of our product called the VC2 Internet Application Server.
Beyond them having obviously a little bit more hands-on control with it, what do you mean by control? Like, what level of customization or control do they actually have? Like, what can they actually do with it once they have it on their own, behind their own firewall, and it's part of their own property?
Sure. Whether the VC2 is hosted either at their cloud and private protected or behind the firewall, they have the full access to be able to create their own environments. So the VC2, which is the product, comes with something called our VCMS, which is the user control interface on the back end. So what that means is that as an end user or creator of digital destinations, they have the full ability with a GUI interface to be able to create whatever their creative juices cause them to want to create. They're not relying on developers. They're actually going in with almost a WordPress-like building block component technology and building their own environments. So that's one piece of control. Another piece of control, which is really critical, is companies that have regulation or compliance requirements that they must not be in the cloud, or they must be able to control their databases. So within the control, you have the ability to control not only the look and the feel, but the integration and the APIs that we provide to our product allow an organization to be able to have that level of control that is what they require in the marketplace.
That's great. What do you think are the next steps? What control is not available yet to them that you would like to make available? What do you think is going to have to be the next push?
Well, from a collaboration perspective, we really believe that a lot of these digital destinations or virtual environments play very, very well when you're integrating with your client information or you're integrating with your brand data. So what we see coming is the need to create more and more API connections into individual corporate assets. So for instance, large companies such as SAP have taken our platform and have integrated with their learning system. So they have a rich ability to take their own assets and completely merge the VC2 application server, the virtual environment platform, with their learning system.
That's great.
So as we go down the road, we see the need to find more and more connections to social media type services, as well as private client data. And those all develop based on putting this tool in the hands of an enterprise or a carrier even, so that they can find the unique uses for our platform.
That's great.
We can't possibly be the expert in every possible use. We want to be the underlying technology that supports all that underlying use.
I was just going to say, beyond, once they have that tool in their hands, beyond events, what do you think that people will be able to use it for business solutions?
We've had a couple of aha moments this year, which were just really, one was very much fun. There's a group that provided and created a documentary on Buddhism. And the environment was called Digital Dharma. And they actually used our platform to roll out a new movie release. And what we found by doing this was that they have now figured out a way, and we see other ways, that movie producers and production companies can actually roll out interactive television programs and interactive movies using our platform. It's a great example of how we could not possibly have thought it. If we had sat in a product briefing room and tried to create all the possible outcomes, we would never have come up with this one.
No, that's great. So they were almost essentially using it as an advertising platform so that they could get the feedback of the audiences, or?
They had audiences watching the release of the movie, and using the social media components, chat and other types of social media, they were able to determine what parts of the movie were the most interesting, what the people thought of it, where they were, where they wanted to see it released, and be able to collect all that data through our back-end infrastructure and be able to act on it.
That's great. Well, if you want to, do you want to elaborate a little bit more on the back-end reporting? What types of things are people looking for or asking for that you've had to make incorporated?
I would say that this in the virtual environment or digital destination industry, it's well known that these are giant marketing database backends. So anything that happens within these platforms, any customer interface discussion, anytime that a customer watches a particular piece of video or downloads a particular application, all of this is tracked because from an activation perspective, if you are a motorcycle company and you're trying to sell motorcycles and somebody came into this environment and built a custom virtual bike and abandoned the site 3/4 of the way through it, your CRM system has to be able to notify the dealer in that area that you just had somebody that must be interested in the bike and you should be in touch with them in some way. So our platform tracks every activity and provides that rich information set back to the owner of the platform.
And they have access to it. It's not like you're calling out the reporting and providing it to them after the fact. They have access to that data portal?
They have if there's two different assets. In a SaaS environment, they have access to the entire rich set of data, which they can customize. And if you own the platform, you have the same capability, which is that data is yours as well.
That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you were going to try to predict what the next level of pain points would be, what do you think is going to be, what are you going to be hearing from people next? Like, what do you think the next level of feedback is going to be where that'll get people to the next level?
It may sound strange, but we're hoping for more pain points because what that means is there's more adoption. So I think that what this industry needs the most is to have a rich understanding that digital destinations are an extension of a website. It is a bridge between a website and actually a physical event potentially. But many times the need to connect to your customers that are in the internet, these are people who are measured in the tens of millions, and so as customers and vendors start understanding this, they can create a rich set of services around the underlying platform that we have and provide us more access to make more changes to the platform and grow it. So I could say those are pain points in one way, but on the other hand, that means we have a growing industry.
No, I totally agree. I think people need to realize that there's huge similarities in the way that websites are built as to these virtual events and virtual environments, not to downplay the virtual environments at all, but just to make it a little less daunting for people. All it really is a more concise structure to the location on, virtually, that allows people to have that interaction that might just be more solo on a microsite or a website.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we really like to think of ourselves as in the blogosphere. Blogs are interesting. No one really worries about the fact that it's produced on WordPress.
Right.
And so we want to have people be able to focus on their content, focus on their vision, focus on their margin and making money, and have the underlying technology be able to allow that.
We touched on this a little bit, but do you think that are there people looking to be the innovators? Like, do people want to help you come up with those APIs or figure out ways to further enhance your product? Are you finding that from your
There's so many companies in the world today that actually provide bridges in an API environment that there are companies that do that. I think that from our perspective, the innovators are the ones, much like the movie studio discussion that we just had, especially in the area of advertising and marketing agencies who have the ear of brand managers, who have the ears of customers who are trying to create messaging to their end customers. So, yeah, that's where we see the real promise being delivered in this business, which is if they have a tool that works for them reliably, that allows them the control to create what the customer wants, then this is what we see happen.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. If everybody can, pitch in and provide their input, it's gonna grow pretty fast.
Absolutely.
Ken, thank you very much for
I really
hanging out with
appreciate your
us.
time.
I
Matt.
really appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Okay,
Thanks.
have a great day.